What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Sunday, 12 Eastern Time live, 88 Fitness. Here we go, baby. Today we're talking about Mike Mentzer inspired, the most efficient way to build muscle and lose fat. Thanks for tuning in. But first, we got updates.
Updates. What updates do we have for everyone?
So we were on vacation last week. We haven't posted any pics in the community yet, but we're going to. Apologies. So we're both up. We put our progress pics up.
I know. See, that's the thing about, being accountable and sharing with everyone. Like, you have to be fully transparent. So, yeah, you can see that we both went up. Mine was definitely strategically planned refeed. So I'm pretty happy with where I ended up, and I'm excited to be cutting back down for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, it was a much needed break, much needed refeed. I'm not sure how long I've been dieting, but I've been posting since I think I started at 218 or 216 and got down to 206. And if you saw my post, it says don't panic because this is not fat. I did not gain 13 pounds of fat.
Right.
Most of this is water. And we're going to see. I'm going to do my best. We'll see if we can recover in 1 week.
Yeah, I'm already down 4 pounds from that 9 that I gained. So I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to recover. It's just whether it takes 1 week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 week of damage. Hopefully we can cover in 1 week, right?
Hey,
Jeff. Good morning from California. Welcome back, baby.
Yeah, and then all the people doing the Summer Shred Challenge are doing really good. Like, I got some really good updates from Chris over the weekend, and Tina tried out the post-workout HIIT. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Big T's
Hey,
on. What's up,
Terrence?
Terrence? Welcome back, baby.
How's everyone doing out there? Danique's on as well.
Hey, Danique, the pro Danique. What's up, Danique?
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear your pro debut plans, Danique.
Ooh, me too.
Is there a Yorton Cup in the future for you? All right, y'all. We're really excited for today's topic. If you've been watching the channel, this week we dropped the most efficient Summer Shred workout series. So it's an entire hour worth of the best workouts, the most efficient workouts to maintain a lean physique while getting shredded for the summer.
And keeping your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Danique says, So she's still thinking about that pro debut, baby.
We'll have to talk about it next weekend, Danique. So yeah, it's a really fun topic. And I think, James, you hit it. It's not just about making muscles. It's preserving the muscles while dieting down and shredding the fat. Because no one wants to get super leaned out, but waste all their muscles away, especially when you spend an entire off season trying to put on size.
Yeah, trying to build them. Capriana's back. What's up, Capriana? Thanks for tuning in. Big T says doing this 30 minutes of cardio on a step mill while listening. Hey, that's a great idea. Well, if you can get distracted while you're doing cardio, it's fantastic. And if watching us can help you do that, go do it, baby.
I'm with Terrence. I always have to be watching and listening, especially on the step mill or doing cardio. Like, music alone just doesn't cut it for me. Hey, Tina, welcome.
What's up, Tina? Welcome back. That's funny because I walked our country lane this morning. I didn't listen to music. I didn't watch anything.
You're kind of in wildlife. Come on now.
Native Grit's back.
Hey.
What's up, Native Grit? You are correct. I was listening for wildlife. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything this morning.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So today we're going to get into recapping a little bit about that most efficient workout series and why we said the things that we said in that video. So if you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend after watching this live video today to go back, find Wednesday's video and take a look at that, especially if you're trying to hang on to your muscle mass this summer. We're going to get into why lifting heavy during a shred is so very important. We're also going to talk about how do you structure the most efficient workouts that preserve that lean muscle mass. And then lastly, we'll talk, a little bit about some real world application of high intensity training and low volume programming. So I think it's going to be a fun topic today for sure.
Definitely. We're talking about lifting heavy, baby. That's always a fun topic. Terrence Hill said, been using my weighted vest while doing cardio to make it more intense. That's a great tip.
That definitely would make it more intense.
You're going to burn more calories. You're going to raise your body temperature as well because you got that vest on.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, T.
And y'all, if you really value the content from today's live and want to support our content and channel, don't forget to hit that super thanks button. It really helps us to keep bringing this excellent content to you guys. So yeah, we appreciate you guys, Team 88. And for all of those listening, even though today's topic is related to the most efficient workout for the summer shred, you can, of course, ask us anything. So by all means, just whatever fitness related questions you have or questions for me and James, go ahead and drop them in the chat section. So, all right, you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's talk about why training heavy is so critical when dieting. So yeah, like typically, when you're dieting down, you're in a caloric deficit, right? So this places the body in a catabolic state. But not only that, when you think about your muscle as it is, it's always breaking down, right? You are always wasting muscle. It's just a normal part of being human.
Yes. If you don't know what catabolic is, you just said it. It's your muscles breaking down. It's the opposite of anabolic, which is your muscles building.
Right. Hey, Angel.
Angel's back.
Good
Welcome
morning.
back, Angel.
Yeah, so you just hit it. The opposite of catabolic is anabolic. And so when you introduce like heavy compound lifts, you are sending an anabolic signal that tells the body, hey, we got to hold on to this muscle. I need it.
Remember, the response, muscle building, hypertrophy, everything is a reaction to your workout. Mm-hmm. It's a response to your workout, adaptive response. And if you stop lifting heavy, guess what? You stop getting that adaptive response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, lifting heavy too also creates like a greater hormonal response. So if you're thinking like testosterone, growth hormone, etc., it's signaling that you need to keep producing this. So it's really important from that aspect as well.
Yeah, I mean, not every, but a whole lot of competitors, number one, first thing they say is, I don't want to lose muscle. Mm-hmm. I don't want to cardio my muscle away. I don't want to diet my muscle away. And no, you don't. And no, you shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually lived that, right? So like I've done shows where cardio was extreme. I mean, we were talking 2+ hours a day. And yeah, I actually did body scans. So I could measure like the lean muscle mass versus body fat and all that. And during that prep, I actually lost muscle mass and it was very devastating.
If the scans were accurate.
Yeah, but I think they were, because just looking at the physique, I was definitely over dieted. That's how shredded I was. So yeah, you don't want that. So that's why we're here today. Hopefully we can give you some tips on how to avoid that situation. And really the key takeaway you're going to find from today's video is that mechanical tension and creating that tension and driver for hypertrophy is going to be really important. So it's not just having that burn feeling, right, or chasing fatigue. It's deeper than that.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to quote Mike Mentzer, since this is Mike Mentzer inspired. He was with an argument with a young man in the gym one time talking about, hey, you don't have to lift heavy. You only need to get a pump. Mm-hmm. And Mike Mentzer said, go ahead and look around this gym. Every single person here is getting a pump. Not every one of them is going to achieve hypertrophy. So keep that in mind. The pump chasers out there. I like a pump too, but a pump doesn't mean you're making muscle, yo.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most minuscule like driver for hypertrophy. Like I would say that there's not really even a science-backed connection to say that creating a pump directly contributes to hypertrophy. Indirectly, maybe, but definitely not directly.
I mean, you said it in one of the lives. I can sit here and do this and get a pump.
Right.
With no weight at all. That's not going to make hypertrophy. That's not going to make my muscles any bigger.
Exactly. So, heavy loads using a full range of motion produces a lot superior results, both in cutting and in bulking.
Yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think about cutting season and getting shredded for the summer, and they think of bulking season for winter, they're thinking like lift heavy during the bulk, lift lighter, and more volume during the cut. And that's just not true.
Yeah, once again, a lot of competitors, first timers mostly, come in and say, I'm going to up my reps so I burn more calories so I can burn more fat.
Doesn't work that way, y'all. Higher reps does not burn more fat or tone the muscle. It just accumulates more fatigue. And fatigue is not always a good thing when you introduce too much.
Fatigue's the last thing you want at a caloric deficit. You're already fatigued because you're not getting enough calories in. And then you do high reps, cardio, and all this on top of it. You're getting more fatigue, more fatigue, more fatigue. The best thing you can do is keep your workout short and intense.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Like, have you experienced this? Have you tried the different techniques, and how did that influence your cut or your bulk? So yeah, if you have experienced any of that, I'd love to hear from you guys. I definitely know from personal experience, like increasing the volume at a caloric deficit just puts me in a state where I just can't recover from it anymore.
Yep.
So I'm starting to like beat the dead horse. You're waking up sore every day. Your nervous system is just on high alert. And, after months and months of trying to do that, it just doesn't work, at least for me.
Yeah, it's a double whammy because you're at a caloric deficit and then you're upping the volume, you're upping the cardio, you're losing the fat, which you should be, and you should be upping the cardio if you need to. But the volume of your weights, you should not be going up. It's just going to beat you up more. The less calories you have also affects your recovery ability.
Right.
So you're not recovering as fast either. Now you got more volume, less recovery, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a double-edged sword. You don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Native Grit says, what are you talking about is like doing the full workout. You heard the full?
No, I haven't. What does that stand for, Native Grit?
Yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing that, Native Grit. Tina said, this is great stuff, guys. The weight should always be intense as possible. Mm-hmm. My new motto is just don't get fat. No bulking, no cutting, unless there's a show coming up.
Go.
There you go. So general rule is you bulk until you're 20 pounds over your stage weight. Mm-hmm. And then you maintain until it's time to cut again.
Yeah.
That's just a basic general rule.
That depends, though. Like bikini athletes, maybe a little less, right? Like you really only need a thin layer of body fat on there. I wouldn't get too plump for a bikini wellness fit model.
Yes.
Because, females are just like smaller in general. But definitely for all the men's classes or even like women's bodybuilding, I think 20 pounds is great. Like you said.
Yes, and I tell my female athletes, because no male athletes care if they gain 20 pounds. I tell them gain 20 pounds or gain as much as you're comfortable with. If you're looking at the mirror 15 pounds up going, no, I don't like this, then we'll stop right there.
Yeah.
We might even lose 5 pounds. If you're not comfortable, stop gaining the weight. All right. Big T says, I used to lift light with high reps till I learned I needed to lift heavy. Mm-hmm. I had a hard time breaking that mindset of not needing to lift light with high reps.
Right.
Very good, T. Glad you broke that mindset, man.
It's also like hard to progressive overload that way. Like you end up just having to add more and more volume to make things more intense. Otherwise, you end up lifting heavy. And then you end up lifting heavy with high volume. And then it's like, oh, dang.
All right. Native Grit said the full workout is power, hypertrophy, upper, lower. Interesting.
Yeah, I have no experience with that or haven't heard of that.
You just gave us homework, Native Grit. We're going to have to look into it, brother.
Yeah, I like something Tina said there. The weight shouldn't always, or the weight should be as intense as possible.
Yes.
So even in a caloric deficit, yes, obviously, like at some point in your deficit or cut, your ability to progressive overload is probably impacted, but that doesn't mean you give up trying, right? Like you keep trying to overload over time, even though you might physically not be able to.
100%. And when you're in prep, it's tough. It is tough. And when you're cutting and you're in a caloric deficit, it's tough, but keep trying.
Right.
Keep going as heavy as you possibly can.
Yeah. And for those out there that joined our summer shred, you guys are a few weeks in. So you are definitely starting to feel the effects of that summer shred. So
and some of y'all are killing this shred, by the way. I mean, you're doing really good.
Yeah. I want to hear from you guys. How's it going out there for those that entered that are online?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk now a little bit about Mike Mentzer's heavy duty, high intensity training, because it is a very interesting technique. So what do you think about that?
In my personal and professional opinion, is it's the most efficient way to build muscle. There's a lot of different ways to make muscle. There's a lot of studies out there making muscles. There's only one that's the most efficient way, and that's high intensity Mike Mentzer style. Angel says sandwich sets and pyramid sets are my favorite. Right on, Angel. Sandwich sets, man. I've been on a kick on sandwich sets lately. I've been loving them.
I like them too, Angel, but I also have to pump my brakes sometimes because I will work so many supersets and sandwich sets into my workout that it does affect my ability to go intense. So it's just something to keep in mind too. Like your whole workout shouldn't be sandwich sets and pyramid sets. It's okay to have singular sets sometimes too.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're, these are intensifying techniques. They shouldn't be used all the time.
Right.
Use them sparingly. You can do a sandwich set and for one exercise. That's pretty much going to be enough.
Yeah. So what I liked about Mike Mentzer's training is that he focuses on, being really brief with the workouts, yet intense. And then he also focuses quite a bit on full body recovery when he's not in the gym. So there's a lot I think we can all take away from that style of training, especially in a summer shred. And the key, I think, to the Mentzer style training, which is probably counterintuitive, is the fact that it actually reduces like systematic fatigue and nervous system fatigue, which is funny. Like when you hear it, you're like, I'm lifting like balls to the wall, like can't lift another, do another rep. Like you would think that would cause a lot of fatigue and damage, but really it's the opposite because you're doing the most efficient workout and then getting out of the gym. You're not, staying there beating the dead horse.
Yes, it's much lower volume than what you would normally do. Mike Mentzer's mentor was Arthur Jones, and he came up with this idea by watching gorillas. I don't know if you guys know this, but 90% of the time gorillas lay around and do nothing. How the heck are they big 500 pounds hunks of muscle, right? Because when they get up that 10% of the time, they go 100%. They don't do 50%. They don't do 70%. They do 100%. So they'll grab a bench, pull their 500-pound body up with one hand, boom, like it's nothing, because they don't know anything but 100%. Boom. And remember, your muscle fibers are the same. They fire at all or nothing. If you're not lifting a heavy enough weight, you're not recruiting all your muscle fibers. You're not making the gains. You're losing out.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, like we could get pretty deep in talking about type 1, type 2 fibers, but type 2 fibers have the most potential for hypertrophy or have the greatest impact. So if you're not lifting all out, you are not recruiting those type 2 fibers.
Correct. They're the most hardest to fire. They're not going to fire unless they're needed.
Right.
So keep that in mind. The type 2 muscle fibers grow a lot faster, a lot stronger, but they will not fire unless they are absolutely needed.
Which means you have to lift intensely and heavy, y'all. So yeah, taking away some practical applications from Mike Mentzer style training is that really you just need like 1 to 2 working sets per movement max. And if you focus all of your effort and intensity into those 1 or 2 sets, like that's more than enough. So yeah, don't get fooled by people giving you these really long like workouts that end up, taking forever in a day in the gym. Like you don't need to necessarily do all that.
So I look at all the headlines every morning. It's something I do. I've just been doing it for years. There was a headline saying, hey, exercise had it all wrong. You don't need an hour lifting. You only need a half hour. So of course I clicked on it, and it basically just repeated Mike Mentzer style. Go in, go hard, go home. Don't do junk volume. Don't be in the gym for hours lifting, doing junk volume. Get your intensity on, get in and get out.
Yeah, it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I switched to more of that strategy. I would spend maybe 45 minutes or so in the gym versus an hour plus. And I remember like you and I would do doubles a lot. Like we would work out in the morning and then we would do even more at lunchtime. And yeah, like the couple of years of doing that compared to the year or two where I just did like 30, 45 minutes, like I saw a lot more growth when the workout duration was shorter, actually. Agreed.
And guess what? We don't do doubles anymore.
No, we sure don't.
The whole time we're doing doubles, the gains were just stalled. Stalled. We were doing too much.
Yeah.
Angel said, when lifting heavy, how much time do you rest between sets? Good question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is there's a golden rule here, Angel. And, it depends on your exercise. So if you're going to do squats, you're going to take a lot more rest time in between sets than curls.
Mm-hmm.
But the golden rule is if you catch your breath and the burn is gone, do your next set.
Yeah.
Don't go and try to do your next set while you're still huffing and puffing. Do your cardio separate. Keep it anaerobic when you're lifting the weights. Keep your aerobic separate. So catch your breath in between sets. Let the burn go away and then hit it.
Yeah, it's funny. There's this guy that works out at Planet Fitness that we see sometimes, and he has a timer that he sets. It actually just causes PTSD because it sounds like an alarm clock when it goes. Yeah, and it's just like every 30 seconds he's like, "Oh, gotta lift again." I'm like, is he even recovered? Like, this is crazy, just watching him work out like that.
If it wasn't Planet Fitness, he'd probably get kicked out of a real gym because he's got his alarm blaring every 30 seconds. And it's louder than my headphones, which are all the way up, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that guy's great.
So, yeah, another thing, Mike Mentzer was big on taking rest days. Like, he really only worked out again after he wasn't sore. It's probably a little bit extreme, but I think there's, it's worth mentioning. A lot of people, when they think summer shred or they think cutting, they think that they have to be like moving and doing something all the time. Yeah. But even in the last 2 months where I've been dieting, like James and I have noticed, like, I'll be like, hey, I feel like I'm totally overtrained. Like, I just don't have a choice. I'm going to have to take tomorrow off, and boom, I lose a bunch of weight. Like, I'll lose 2 pounds like overnight. And it's like, I didn't even work out or do any cardio, you guys. So
just needed a rest.
Yeah, just needed to rest my body. Dave and Buster.
Dave and Buster, what's up, baby? Welcome back. All right.
So yeah, don't underestimate rest and recovery, even in a shred. It can be like really crucial for you guys.
All right, J.O.D.'s back. Welcome, J.O.D. Says how to boost testosterone naturally. Lifting Heaven's one. Mm-hmm. There's some natural supplements you can take out there. I know Tribulus is one of them. Mm-hmm. They have a couple more. There's also some diet stuff you can do. I'd have to look it up, though, so I don't have it off the top of my head. But lifting heavy is number one. Squats, deadlifts, heavy, heavy, heavy. Lift heavy, that's going to boost your testosterone. Absolutely. It's going to boost your growth hormone. And then if you can find the Tribulus, et cetera, that you can get a GNC. It's not a steroid. It makes your body produce more testosterone. So it's your own testosterone that your body's producing. The supplement just makes you produce more. Big T says EAA Max are great. Definitely a recommended supplement for hydration and recovery. Good stuff, T. One of my favorites too, baby. And we're all summer shredding, so we're hungry. The EAA Max will kill your appetite for an hour or two. Guess what I got in my shaker right now? Because I'm hungry.
In fact, after the video, I'll toss up a link for you guys in the description for this video if you want to try the EAA Max as well. Great supplement for sure. One of our number one or top 5. Yeah. All right. Anything else about Mike Mentzer style high intensity training and why that is so effective?
So in the simplest form, and Mike, this is why I like Mike Mentzer, is he kept it very simple. Everybody can understand his stuff. He doesn't try to overscience it. It's stimulus and recovery. If you shortchange either one, and I've said this before, if you shortchange the stimulus, you're not going to make gains. Absolutely. If you shortchange the recovery, you're not going to make gains. It's just going to slow you up.
Yeah, Dave and Buster says, I agree with weight loss after rest days. I think it's inflammation going away. Yeah, you're 100% correct. In fact, one of our recent women's figure athletes, she would come in and say, man, my thighs just feel swollen. Like she was hitting the cardio really hard, and then she would take a rest day. And then the next day she would notice a big drop in weight. And she'd be like, hey, my thighs don't feel the same way. Like they don't feel swollen anymore. So yeah, she was definitely getting a inflammatory response from all the cardio and just allowing the body to relax. She was able to push that water out. So yeah.
J.U.D. says most use of supplements, that's a waste of money. Well, how old are you, J.U.D.? And I kind of agree because I tried the Tribulus when I was like 19 and ended up throwing it out because it didn't do anything. But I was 19.
You're 19. I mean, you were operating at peak testosterone.
At peak testosterone, baby. The older you get, that's when you need to start doing the testosterone boosters because your testosterone production goes down age 25 and up. There you go, baby. You're 19. So you're in the same boat I was when I was 19. I tried the Tribulus and I said, it's crap. I'm not taking it anymore. And I actually haven't tried it ever since. So I know what the science says, but it didn't work for me either, Jody.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the key is that you want to make sure that you're stimulating muscle growth and not annihilating your muscles at the same time. You know, if the stimulus is strong enough, less total work is required and you will stay strong, you will stay shredded. So just keep all that in mind.
And guess what? When you're lifting heavy, your volume's going to go down. Because your fatigue comes that much faster than when you're lifting light.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of there's been a lot of research done since, Mike Mentzer came out with heavy duty. There's a lot of science to back now his approach.
Yep.
In fact, there's a social media influencer I really like. James is not necessarily a fan, but I really like him. It's Dr. Chester Sokolowski, who created Physique University, and he talks through that and uses a lot of studies. And he says mechanical tension is the #1 driver for hypertrophy, not a pump. So that means you got to get in there and you got to lift heavy and you got to create that mechanical tension.
Yes, and I don't not like Dr. Soko. He just gets a little too sciencey for me.
I love the science nerds, you guys, because I'm just like a science nerd myself. So that's probably why.
And all you guys out there saying there's no big science, guys.
Dr. Sokolowski is a pretty big science guy.
He's a big dude, so.
But yeah, he really believes in training pretty close to failure too. That's going to produce the best result.
He's a 1 or 2 set, isn't he?
Yeah, he likes 1 or 2 sets as well. In fact, if you do any of his programs, a lot of times it's, hey, do like 3 or 4 warm-up sets, but not at all out intensity, and then go for like a 9 or 8 or 9 in like rate of perceived effort for 1 set. So he's big into that too.
Yeah, I mean, Mentzer was big in the 80s and 90s, man, and all the stuff coming out today just backs him up. All the science just backs up everything he said. It just keeps getting proven over and over again. Lift heavy, lift heavy. Native Grit said, what split are you on? I'm on the bro split. I don't like to call it a bro split, but apparently that's what it's called. I do 1 body part a day, 5 days a week, and take 2 rest days.
All right. I am doing a very weird split right now. It is actually one of Dr. Sokolowski's. I'm trying it out. Basically have 3 different types of lifting days. So I'll do back, chest, and then some legs like calves in 1 day. And then another day will be delt and arms. And then there's an all-out leg day. It's an interesting split. Like for me, it's like a big experiment trying this. I've never combined body parts. I've always done a bro split, kind of like James. And I've noticed that I'm not necessarily as fatigued. Somehow I can still hit all of those different lifts and it works. So I'm kind of surprised actually.
So Native Grit, we were just on vacation. So I only made it to the gym 3 days out of 7. So I did push-pull last week. I did back and biceps, chest, tris, legs, shoulders.
Yeah.
But my normal split is the 1 body part a day. My triceps did get exceptionally sore because I usually don't do chest with triceps. So
it's a good combo though. I mean, it works.
It is. And it shows me I need to do more pushing on my tricep days.
Interesting.
So I learned a little bit, but I'm not going to keep that split up. I'm going to go back to my 1 day.
Yeah. All
right. David Buster says, science is cool. Maximum recovered volume, MRV, is the highest amount of training volume in sets per week that an individual can handle and still fully recover from being before the next training day. Very good. MRV. I have to remember that. See, this is like good stuff. I mean, it's everybody. It's gonna your MRV is gonna be different.
Right.
It's gonna be individualized.
Absolutely.
But that is a good definition of it. I like it. JOD, people are trained most visible muscle like bicep, tricep, shoulders, but they ignore important muscles like legs, calves, and glutes. You are correct, sir.
Do.
Those are called the beach muscles, baby. Everybody wants their beach muscles to look good, but then they put the long board shorts on so you can't see their legs, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of supporting muscles too. Like I do a lot of rotator cuff work and different things to build up that area. Like you can't expect some of your big compound lifts to keep progressive overloading if you don't allow the smaller muscle groups to get strong as well. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, agreed. And remember, all your strength comes from your hips, man.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not training legs, you're not going to be as strong as you can be.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think it's important that, you know, especially when you're in a deficit, that you pay attention to your recovery capacity because it is going to be limited, right? Like we're not eating all of the carbs to fuel the energy and the recovery. So you really need to listen to your body and become really in tune with it.
Yeah, that's the best advice. I mean, we're all 88ers, so nobody's a slacker. So nobody's going to use the excuse, I'm overtrained, I'm not going to the gym. I just gave you my split. But if I'm beat up,
take another rest day.
I will take another rest day. And it'll just push everything by a day.
Right.
5 days on, 2 days off is my normal split. But it could be 4 days, 3 off if I'm beat up. I'm exceptionally beat up today. I'm supposed to lift tomorrow. If I wake up beat up tomorrow, I'm going to take another rest day and lift on Tuesday.
Native Grit asked, do you think the bro split is better for advanced lifters?
Yes.
Yes. I think advanced lifter needs more time with each individual muscle group.
Yes.
So
that is why we do the bro split Native Grit. As a beginner, you can make gains on pretty much anything, you know, push, pull split, total body split. As you get intermediate advanced, you need to spend more time on each individual muscle. So in other words, if I try to do chest and tries, one of them isn't going to get an efficient workout because the other one's going to get fatigued. Now, I just said my triceps were exceptionally sore. Well, guess what? My chest wasn't sore at all.
Yeah.
So the triceps took away from the chest. That's why you separate them. As intermediate advanced, you know, as a beginner, you're going to stimulate both enough. Right. But intermediate advanced, you got to split them up.
Yeah. And I will give you guys feedback after I kind of go through another several weeks under the split that I'm on and whether I think that that's efficient or not. It might be just because I am trying to focus on reducing body fat. So it might be okay. But if I were in a building phase, I don't think it would be enough for me. But I'll let you guys know.
Jay Udy says, how to train a weak muscle. I'm not sure what that question means, Jay Udy.
So, like, do you have an imbalance side to side? Like, you're doing bicep curls, but your left arm can only get 4 reps and the other can do, like, 10? Is that what you mean?
If it is, you just keep hammering that side until it catches up.
Yeah, I usually will add a little extra volume on that side, or depending on how bad the imbalance is, I might not train the strong side at all. So a lot of unilateral work helps.
Correct. So unilateral is one arm or one leg.
At a time.
At a time, right. So anytime you can split up your arms and legs, do it, and it'll bring your weak side up.
All right. So let's talk a little bit now on how to structure the most efficient shredded workout, which we've kind of been talking about this. Like, you know, ideally you probably want to do a 5-day bro split if you can, especially if you're an advanced lifter. If not, okay, maybe a push-pull leg workout can work for you. So yeah, you've got some options.
All right. David Buster says, train everything. Your body will thank you when you get older. When you're 70, you can still live like untrained 30-year-old. Amen, brother.
That's the goal right there, David Buster.
Amen. I tell everybody, hey, the fountain of youth is strength. If you keep your strength up into your 70s, man, you're doing great.
Absolutely.
You can walk, you can move. I can't tell you how many 70-year-olds can't even get up.
Right.
But you keep training, you keep your strength. That is the fountain of youth. Well said, Dave Buster. Angel said, how'd you come up with the name 88 Fitness?
That's a good point. So 88 Fitness, if you look at the logo, it's actually 2 infinity signs. And so it just means like continuous improvement. So you're kind of never done with your fitness journey. Once you reach one level, you strive for the next. And it's just a lifelong commitment.
There you go. All right. Deanna M says, how many years of consistent training put you in intermediate advanced? I would say 3 years. Once you got 3 years in, you're intermediate, probably 6 years for advanced.
Yeah.
So 3, 3, and 3.
3 and 3.
Of course, this is individualized as well, but in general, probably 3 years beginner, 3 years intermediate, and then you're going to be advanced after that.
You know, I kind of say it might depend on what you're doing and how consistent you are. Because I know a lot of people that have been training for like 5-8 years inconsistently and doing God only knows what at the gym, and I would not consider them intermediate or advanced.
She said consistent training.
I know, but just want to put that out there. It just definitely depends on what you're doing while you're at the gym.
Very good point. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people in the gym not doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. They come in, they stretch, they do some shadow boxing in the corner. They do like 1 or 2 of the circuit machines, and then they walk out. Yeah. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah. There was unfortunately, there was a girl that went to the gym I went to every morning for 3 years. She shadow boxed in the corner for 3 years. Never lost weight, never changed anything. You're getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, coming to the gym, wasting your time. I even went up to her a few times, said, "Can I help you?" Well, she wasn't interested. So I think she's just telling her husband, "Yes, I went to the gym. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone." Angel said, "Awesome, thank you."
Yeah. So going back to like, how do you structure the most efficient workout? You know, first and foremost, you're going to want to prioritize your compound lifts, especially when you're fresh. So you want these earlier in the workout. And yeah, if you have a weak muscle or area, you're going to want to hit that area first.
Yep. And beginning of the week, if you can. Mm-hmm. Deanna says, "Thanks. You're very welcome, Deanna. We're happy to help."
You know, you also want to focus on doing slow eccentrics, like rep tempo matters, you guys. Mm-hmm. And definitely make sure that you are getting that stretch in the lengthened position. So you want to make sure you're getting that active and passive tension, which helps contribute towards hypertrophy.
Yeah, we were in West Virginia last week. If you guys didn't know, we went to Anytime Fitness. That's about the only game in town, which was a decent club.
It's literally the only game in town, and we had to drive an hour to get to it.
I love West Virginia, y'all, but man, hour drive to the gym, hour drive back, like, woo. Anyway, my rep tempo is very slow in the negatives, and everybody at that gym was going, "What the heck is this dude doing?" Because on the bench, I'm going real slow, 315 pounds, real slow down. They're all looking like they're going to have to pull it off my neck, and they're all surprised when I press it back up. It's just the way I train. You get more gains when you slow down the negative portion of the rep.
Absolutely. And another thing that we talk about is trying to work in either rest pause, mechanical drop sets. These are just intensity boosters that can really help get the most efficiency out of your workout.
Native Grid said, "Have you been using the heavy bag? I need to send you a double end bag. I love it for cardio." Nice. I'm fighting a bit of a back tweak, so I haven't been able to hang the bag.
It's heavy.
We hang the bag and we take the bag off because we don't have room in the gym for it just to hang all the time. So maybe in a couple weeks we'll get the bag back up. But right now with the back tweak, I don't even want to try to hang that bag.
Yeah, there's actually 3 of us trainers with 88 Fitness Training. My sister-in-law, James's sister's our 3rd trainer, and her clients love the heavy bag. So that's why we actually got one.
It is great for cardio, and I've done it before. It's just not right now. I'm not going to hang that bag up. Maybe in a couple weeks, if I keep healing, I will. Mm-hmm. But I like it. And, you know, you put your anger music on, you just beat the crap out of that bag for 30 minutes. It's great. You're sweating.
Great stress reducer, which everybody could use a little of that these days because there's a lot of uncertainty going on with everything. So it's a great way to take out that frustration for sure.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Dave and Buster says, "Do you have vacation workout? No gym around?" Yes, we do bring the bands sometimes when we go to West Virginia, the workout bands. So we'll work out at the house there and not bother driving an hour there and an hour back. Mm-hmm. But it's not as good.
No way. But we do have those videos. There's an entire resistance band series on the channel that you can look at. And then I actually have an entire hotel gym series. So if someone's on travel this summer and you do have access to one of those fitness rooms, I built an entire like bro split for a hotel gym. So you have those available to you.
If I get desperate, the weather didn't cooperate this time, but if I get desperate, I will go lift boulders and do pull-ups on a tree, et cetera, you know, lift logs.
That's it. We got to do the wilderness workout next time we're back in West Virginia.
my country self will go out there and lift boulders and pull-ups on trees, and et cetera, if I need to. Mm-hmm. I probably would have done it this time because we went to Anytime and the weather didn't cooperate, but
Yeah,
when we go back, perhaps.
We tried to alternate it. So every other day we pretty much went to Anytime Fitness. The other days we focused on cardio and just going for really long walks and hikes, which is a lot of fun, especially in the middle of the night in West Virginia. So you hear a lot of different sounds.
In the mountains of West Virginia, baby, you don't know what's looking at you.
I keep looking for a bear, but I haven't seen one yet, and that's probably a good thing, but I still want to see one really bad.
It's funny because you can hear the stuff rustling around in the woods. They're 10 feet into the wood line. You can't see them, but you know there's something there.
Our dog definitely knows there's something there. He's like on high alert, and you're like, uh-oh, what is that?
Angel says time under tension really works. Yes, it does. I mean, that's why we preach the rep tempo.
It's probably the most underrated
It probably is.
There's nothing sexy about going super slow doing your weights because you can't lift as much. But if you want to grow, you want to preserve that muscle mass, it's a great way to do it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Big T says, James doing a mountain workout. You got it, baby. I did win the Mountaineer Classic in 2018, so I'm bringing it.
He looked like a mountaineer. I think you need to toss up a throwback. He had this long, grungy beard. I was like, listen, dude, if you don't shave that, we're getting a divorce.
We weren't even married then.
I know. Well, we were never getting married with that beard around. Let's toss up a photo later for them for that. All right. Any other tips for workout structure?
Don't overtrain and lift heavy. Mm-hmm. Remember, and I'm going to quote Mentzer again. You turn the light on, light switch. You turn it on. The light's on. Mm-hmm. You don't have to keep turning it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Your muscles are the same. Once you get that set in, you trigger the response. You're going to make the muscles. You turn the light on, it's on. You got the response to make the muscle. It's on. Go home. Mm-hmm. Don't do the junk volume. But it's extremely hard to turn that light on. You got to go intense and you got to go heavy.
Right.
Or you're not going to turn the light on. You're just going to tap the light switch, right?
Yeah. In terms of other mistakes that people make when it's, related to working out and a cut is just lowering the weight too much. That's the fastest way towards muscle loss. You got to keep lifting heavy to maintain what you have. You definitely don't want to wake up and do a lot less intensity.
No way. You're going to lose your muscle like that. Nobody wants that. You're leaning out so you can see your gains, so you can see your muscles. Don't lose them while you're leaning out.
Right. Another mistake that I see people make is replacing all of their strength work with extra cardio sessions. That's not a great idea. I mean, really, cardio is going to end up wasting that muscle away. If you do too much, it creates a lot of fatigue. Yeah. There's times where I'll literally tell James, man, I think my cardio is beating me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be careful there. You don't want to do too much cardio.
Yeah. And we talked about this before. I end up losing more weight on lifting days than I do on cardio days. So whoever's preaching the cardio is the way to lose weight, I'm not so sure about that.
Becky recently found your channel. Great stuff. I'm 57-year-old female shooting to compete in OCB figure at the end of the year.
Nice.
Well, congratulations, Becky. That is awesome. Which OCB show are you looking to compete in? There's definitely some great ones for sure. And I'm really happy with the OCB League. They're amazing. They really are.
They are a very reputable league. Mm-hmm. It is great, and I would recommend anybody, if you're going to get your toes wet, do it in OCB.
Mm-hmm. They really take care of their athletes, and what I love is they give each and every person the time of day.
Yep.
They are literally judging you up there for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. They are looking at each person.
Practice your posing, Becky, because you're going to be on stage for a long time. Just practice and get your posing fatigue in check.
Posing endurance. It's definitely a thing.
That's the word. Yeah. Get your posing endurance on because you're going to be on stage for a long time, girl.
Absolutely.
J.O.D. said, I want to get a mass monster physique naturally. Is that possible? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You're going to reach your genetic potential probably in 9 years. Like I said, 3, 3, and 3. And then you're going to probably reach your genetic potential at that point if you're going hard.
Yeah. And hey, Becky, I'm actually going to drop a female bodybuilding series in the July timeframe, right? End of July. So you can be on the lookout for that. It'll talk about kind of what's different between bodybuilding for men and females. Like most of the exercises and workouts, you can use the same approach, but there are some nuances where I think women need to pay attention when it comes to female bodybuilding. And so we'll talk all through that and I'll show you that. So stay tuned for that.
Dave and Buster said, I've been taking extra BCAAs to prevent muscle loss during the cut. What's your opinion? I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
BCAAs and EAAs will help preserve your muscle.
And creatine. And creatine. If anyone listening's not taking creatine and you're doing the summer shred, get on the creatine.
Absolutely. You might go up a couple pounds on the scale. Don't sweat it. It's water in your muscles. It's going to make your muscles look bigger. It's not going to make you look watery.
Yeah.
So good job, Dave and Buster. Also, the BCAAs and the EAAs will help with your appetite. Like I said, EAAs will kill your appetite for a couple hours while you're hungry.
It really does work for sure.
It preserves your muscles, no doubt. Good job, Dave. But man, you're killing it, Dave and Buster.
I know. I want to go work out with him. We already touched on it, but another mistake is just overtraining with volume because it limits your recovery ability. Like, I think we covered that pretty well. So hopefully you guys took that away. Overtraining leads to regression. We're trying to progress. We're not trying to regress during this summer shred. So definitely don't overdo it.
Yep. You're very welcome, Becky. Happy to help. What category are you competing in?
Figure.
Figure? Okay. Danique is on here and she won a double pro card.
Double pro card. She got OCB Masters Pro and OCB Open.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was a double pro card winner this past May. A couple weeks ago.
If Danique's still on, hey, double pro card winner.
For sure. Another mistake that people make is just assuming high reps equals more fat burn. It's still a calorie game, like you got to eat right. You got to train right. Like, are you creating that net deficit for the day? Higher reps isn't necessarily going to do that. I mean, you are going to lose weight, but you might lose muscle. So.
Indeed. All right. Fantastic. Congrats. Thank you again. Tina said, I'm now putting EAs back in my pull box. Didn't know it helped with cutting. Pill box. There you go. That makes more sense.
Absolutely.
Yes, it will help. It kills your appetite and it will help preserve your muscles, just like Dave and Buster said. It will help preserve the muscles. You're at a caloric deficit. Remember, BCAAs and EAAs is just broken down protein.
Right.
So what you're doing is getting more protein in your diet with these supplements that are already broken down into amino acids. They're going to help preserve your muscle at a caloric deficit.
Yeah. So the last mistake I want to talk about is probably either the top or second biggest mistake that people make, and it's neglecting the performance tracking in a deficit. For whatever reason, people are really good at logging and trying to progressive overload when they're bulking. They're like eating all the carbs, feeling good. And it comes diet season and they just like toss the logbook out the window. And it's like, we still have to track our progress, you guys.
Yes. So once again, this is an excuse. I'm at a caloric deficit. I'm not even going to progressively overload. I'm not even going to track.
I'm still PRing, you guys. I'm like months into my cut and I am still going out there and progressively overloading just about every workout.
Yes. So. Me too. The ones I can, I'm tweaked. My back's tweaked. So I'm going lighter on a couple things. But the things that I can still lift heavy, I'm still lifting heavy and still gaining, still making PRs. Aileen's on. What's up, Aileen?
So yeah, those are our top mistakes that people make when they're going into a cutting phase in terms of like the workout strategy. So kind of coupled along with the workouts, you still want to make sure you're getting that good protein intake. That will never change. Like we've covered that in the nutrition video. So still get your, 1 to 1.2 grams per body weight. Don't eliminate carbs completely. Like carbs fuel heavy lifts and preserve that intensity. So make sure you're still eating carbs unless there's a reason you can't. And remember, creatine helps maintain that strength and the hydration within the muscle cells itself, even in a cut. So it is important.
Aileen said, I'm at work, but can't miss it. All right.
I love that.
Appreciate that, Aileen, but don't get yourself in trouble.
Yes.
J.U.D. said, I want 3D shoulders. Should I focus on rear delts if they're weak?
Yeah, I got to look at what part of the delt is missing in order to get that depth that you're looking for.
Yeah. If you're missing, focus on the rear delt. If you're missing the front delt, focus on the front. If you're missing the side delt, focus on the side. If they're all equal, keep training them all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Always prioritize your sleep, you guys, and recovery. Shredding is stressful on the body. It's stressful on your mental state. So you need to make sure you're resting.
That's also never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Get your sleep. It's just a fundamental fitness.
For sure.
Get your sleep. Oh, how are you going to say this name? Molly?
Yeah.
Molly, Moly, I hope I'm not messing up your name.
Probably.
Is 50 grams of protein too much after a workout? No, it's not.
Yeah, there was recent research that came back, and like the amount of protein you can actually consume and utilize is a lot higher than they thought, because the body will continue to use it for hours after the lift. So go ahead and hit your 50 grams.
Even more if you want to. I mean, that's they've done a lot of studies and look at the natural world and how humans used to eat. You didn't eat every day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kill, and you ate as much as you could of that kill because you didn't know when the next kill was coming. The natural world is the same way. Watch lions eat. They will sit there and eat they'll eat so much they can't move. They got to roll over and go to sleep. Do you see a fat lion anywhere? Oh. So it just goes to prove, back nature is nature, and your protein is going to break down slower than what these studies say, and all the new stuff coming out saying you can eat 100 grams of protein in the morning and it'll break down 8 to 10 hours throughout the day.
Right.
All right. Aileen says, I find carbs are more important after your workout. They are. They help with recovery, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Dave and Buster says, track it all. Can't wait till this cut is over.
Me too, Dave and Buster.
I believe I'm going to make crazy gains like a rocket when I'm not in a deficit. So it is pretty crazy. If you ever competed before, you diet, and then like the 3 weeks after the show, when you start eating again, the weights go up, the strength goes up, the energy goes up, the pump goes up, and you're like, man, I missed all this. Boy, let me tell you, we're right there with you. Yeah. I weigh 100 kilograms.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're very welcome. He weighs 100 kilograms of 50 grams of protein. Too much. It's still not too much, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What's a kilogram? 100 kilograms?
I don't know the conversion off the top of my head.
Pounds, brother. How many pounds is that? All right. Dave Buss said you need more protein depending on how many muscles you work out in a session.
I don't know about that. I'll have to give that some more thought.
So it makes common sense, but I have to look into it. It does make sense. Aileen said I lost 10 pounds so far, my man. Fantastic. Doing the summer shred. Aileen is in the contest. We got his picks, and he is down 10. I'm telling you guys, these guys in the contest and doing the summer shred are killing it. Every one of them are killing it so far.
Yeah, Chris is going to give you a run for your money, Aileen, so keep it going.
What's Chris? Chris down 6, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Dave and Buster, I know you're down 33 pounds, man. Too bad you started before the summer shred started, because you'd be killing everybody.
For sure. I want to transition now just to some practical examples that we've experienced, like outside of the ones we personally gave you from ourselves. I recently it was actually a women's figure athlete. She was able to gain a significant amount of muscle in a caloric deficit while getting ready for the show. So she had competed, I think, in August. We took a very short off season, which I'm not even sure we fully even reversed her diet all the way back up to caloric surplus. There wasn't time. And she, if you look at the pictures when we started the cut to the end, significant muscle mass gain. But we had the logbook. We tracked. The intensity was grotesque. So it makes sense.
I was in the gym most of the mornings training somebody else, not watching.
Creeper.
This girl goes hard, and she goes heavy, and she is strong. Mm-hmm. And some of the lifts, I'm watching her going, wow.
It's impressive.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And it shows, and the progress shows.
Mm-hmm. And so, I would consider her more of like an intermediate athlete, not necessarily like right off the couch type of thing. But with the beginners, I've seen this too. It doesn't matter how deep the deficit is. Like during the cut, they gain a significant amount of muscle mass. So if you're a beginner, you are in a great place to put on a lot of muscle, even though you're not eating a whole lot. So Yeah.
It's like I said in the beginning, if you're a beginner, almost everything works.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much our topic today. So I want to shift gears and tell you kind of what you can expect coming up this next week. We are going to be dropping some really fun videos. One is like a grocery shopping haul. So if you are curious what me and James buy at the grocery store, you can check out our video that drops this Wednesday.
It's a good video, and you can't tell it, but Camille and I are socially awkward. And filming in the grocery store was like, oh my goodness, there's somebody in the background. Turn around, do it this way, do it this way. Oh no.
Yeah, it was stressful, you guys. It was stressful. And we tried to get there at 6 a.m. We're like, who grocery shops at 6 a.m.? But it was packed.
We usually get there at 6 a.m. and the time we're filming, man, there's 37,000 people there. Any other week, there might be 2 people. But for whatever reason, there was tons of people there.
There is even this like little like shelf restocker robot that floats around, and like every aisle we went in, this thing's trying to like run us over. So yeah, please watch our video because it was very stressful to make.
I think the robot's in the video. Native Grit said I lost 5 pounds, but not doing the shred. Good job, brother.
Yeah.
I found out I popped another wire in my chest. Might be from doing flies or deep chest stretch. Careful, Native Grit.
Yeah,
we're still praying for your health, brother.
Be very, very careful for sure. Not worth it.
Better safe than sorry is what I always say. You know, it's a fine line, right? We try to train hard. We try to train heavy. We try to train intense for the gains, and we're pushing the limit just like any other athlete. But that injury is right on the other side of that line. You
have to know when to call it. That's for sure. And we we definitely have our own injuries.
Back tweet.
Yeah.
All right. Angel said, keep lifting, keep living, keep laughing.
I love that. It needs to be like a t-shirt.
That should be a t-shirt, Angel. Thanks for watching, buddy. David Bush says, peanut butter is my pre-workout snack. Hate bonking. What's hate bonking?
Like maybe fizzling out in the middle of the workout.
Okay. That makes sense. Got it. So the peanut butter gets you the fat in the peanut butter gets you going. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Bonking. I might steal that.
I like it.
That's not a bad choice, especially if you're low carb, because the fat in the peanut butter is going to give you energy.
Absolutely. Other videos coming up. We've got some kind of hidden sugar bombs. That's like healthy food you think's healthy, but it's not actually healthy. So that'll be coming out. We've got the grocery shopping one. We've got videos showing a meal prep that we've done. And then we've got some stuff on like the macro tracking for you. So, all right. All good stuff for you guys. I hope you enjoy that. If you guys have any questions as we go into this summer shred or about anything, just keep dropping us those comments. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes, we do.
And don't forget to tune in every Sunday at 12 Eastern. You can interact with James and I right here live.
Hey.
So, all right, y'all, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.